Who dat to the Who Dat Nation? Welcome to the Dome Patrol podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints. And I am your humbled host, Kevin Reed. And we have arrived to the NFL Week 15 preview of the Saints versus the Giants this Sunday in the Caesars Superdome, 12 noon on Fox. Yes, everybody, the New Orleans Saints are backed up into a corner here. This is a must win. And to really put it plainly, for the rest of the season is a must win. Saints are really in a predicament where we have to win out in order to have any shot at a playoff berth, because the only way to reach the playoffs from the NFC South is to indeed win the NFC South. And currently, the New Orleans Saints are in a three-way tie for first place in the NFC South with a whopping impressive record of 6-7, which they share with the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are two of our last four opponents this season. And it is crucial, man. This is crucial, going up against these Giants, who are 5-8 and aren't out of it mathematically, I should say. They still have an outside chance of making the playoffs, but highly doubtful. But it is a shot, but they will have to win out, and they have looked rather impressive the last couple of weeks, especially with the addition of their young quarterback, Tommy DeVito, and he's looked good. Tommy DeVito has looked good since he took over as the starter for the Giants, and it's a very scary team. You got Saquon Barkley doing his thing, doing Saquon Barkley things, and so this isn't going to be an easy out. And as we've learned for the previous 13 weeks or 14 weeks, as far as victories are concerned, none of them have come easy concerning the Saints. Saints don't have a convincing victory, a signature victory this season. You can point to the New England game, and that's fine. I mean, it was a shutout. What was it, 34-0? But that was New England. New England is one of the worst teams in the league this year. And so you kind of got to put an asterisk by that one. But nonetheless, it was a dominant performance, I guess you can say. But if you watch that game from beginning to end, it wasn't too impressive. You look at last week when the Saints defeated the 1-11 at the time, Carolina Panthers. Yeah, they won 28-6. You might say that's kind of impressive if you didn't watch that game from beginning to end, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a dogfight, and every game has been like that. No game has the Saints put together, I mean, all three phases being on one accord. I have never seen the Saints look this pathetic as a team. Not one game, not one. Either we have a good offensive outing and the defense struggles, or the defense is locking down the opposing team and the offense struggles, or we'll get a rare occasion where the offense and defense is looking good and the special teams struggle. We miss field goals and shank punts and all this other foolishness. So it's never together, and I can't put my finger on it. Dennis Allen can't put his finger on it. That's why he's baffled and looked like a buffoon after every Saints game at his press conference. Like, we're almost there. That's idiotic answer that he gives every single week. When is it going to be there? I'm tired of the almost. I need to get there, and we need to get there very quickly, namely this Sunday. If the Saints are going to do anything of note this postseason, will this be the final four games, or will we extend our season? And let me just put it plainly: if we lose Sunday, you can pretty much kill it, because we have a short week after that we play Thursday night against the Rams, and the Rams are looking better than what they started off this season. Looks like they've got their act together and coming away with some victories. They lost last Sunday in overtime, but they gave the Baltimore Ravens the fight of their lives. And Baltimore Ravens are a team a lot of people pick to not only go to the Super Bowl, but actually win it. And so to say that they pushed them to the limit, that says a lot. And if they could do that to Baltimore, my God, what do you think they're going to do to the Saints? I'm looking at what took place last week. Saints came out with a victory, but let's say Saints come out in the same fashion that they came out last week against the New York Giants. Saints will lose that game going away. It's not even close. It's not even close. To sputter on offense, not take advantage of opportunities, which has been a year-long problem for the New Orleans Saints. We lose. We lose that game. And so don't let that scoreboard fool you like the Saints got it together, because they don't. They don't. Derek Carr last week looked pathetic for 3.5 quarters. He looked pathetic. And for him and Dennis Allen to get on the podium after the game and act like they won a Super Bowl, oh, we got the win, and was shocked when reporters asked them tough questions like the audacity of you. We won the game. We're not going to apologize for a win. Well, I agree with that. No, you shouldn't apologize for a win, but you should also address your efficiencies as a team. Derek Carr did not look good. The offense didn't look good. The defense didn't look all that good. The only thing that benefited the defense, he was going against a rookie quarterback with no help at all on his offense. He don't have an offensive line. He didn't have weapons on the outside. He had absolutely nothing. But yet, if you look at his numbers and you look how poised he was on Sunday, he outperformed Derek Carr. He had better yardage, at least more yardage. He didn't turn the ball over, unlike Derek Carr. So he outperformed him. He really did. And so that's concerning to me, and that's the thing us as Saints fans, we need to come to grips with. It's okay to criticize your team. Just because you get a victory don't mean you have to be satisfied with the victory. Now, I wasn't expecting the Saints to go out there and do what the Raiders did to what the Raiders did to the Chargers on Thursday night. My God. But I need a dominant performance like that. And this is the Raiders. And Chargers is a pretty good team. Yeah, they had a lot of injuries on that team. But yet and still, my God, that was incredible. But yeah, I wanted the Saints to have something like that, a dominant performance, something along the lines of what the Saints were at least the defense was doing to the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears had 5 turnovers in that game. Saints just couldn't capitalize on them. At least the offense didn't capitalize on them. And that's what I'm talking about. Let's see, if the Saints capitalized on all those turnovers that they had in that game, it would have been impressive. But that game was tight. That game was tight for no reason whatsoever. And last week I was expecting them to go against, take the field against this team who is clearly not ready for prime time. They're a 1-win team. Yet that game was tight towards the end. It was a 1-possession game in the fourth quarter. It's just frustrating because I'm looking towards the future. I can't enjoy it now because I see in the future, Saints, you're going up against a Giants team that is hungry and scrappy. After that, you got a short week, turn right around and play a Rams team who is just as scrappy or not scrappier than the Giants. I mean, it's not going to get easy. This is not an easy road. And the reason it's not easy because Saints made it hard. It wouldn't have been this difficult had you not dropped the ball, no pun intended. Just look at the Green Bay game. You up 17 in the fourth quarter and lose. And lose. It was 17-0 and you lost that game. You look at the Vikings game. You go up against Josh Dobbs, who just got to the Vikings facility 2 or 3 days earlier, don't even know the people's names that he's playing with, and go out there and look like a Hall of Fame quarterback against you. The Falcons game, Desmond Ritter was fresh off the bench after being benched for a couple of weeks. They put him back in to play Yao, and he beat you. You know, the Lions game, you spot them 21 points coming out the door, and they beat you, and they turn right around and get demolished by the Chicago Bears. So that lets me know that we're a get right team. If you want to get your franchise right, get your team right, get some confidence behind them, play the Saints, and you'll be all right. But it's scary going into this game because the Saints, these are the type of games where over the past 2 years, Saints fold under pressure under these type of games. And it's worrisome. It's very worrisome. And, you know, I give a lot of respect to Brian Daboll over there because Giants looked horrible at the beginning of this season. They looked like trash. They looked like the worst team in football. They played Cowboys. I think the Cowboys, in the 2 times they played them this year, gave up 80-something points on both occasions. Or should I say both games combined? They didn't give up 80 points a game. No, but I think it was 42-0 the first week, and the next time they met, it was 42-6 or something. I forgot, but they got demolished. Then a couple of other games, they just looked horrible, and they kept it together, and they turned it around, and they looked better as a team. They came together as a team, and I'm jealous of them because why can't my team do that? Why can't my team look like they are coming together to make a final push? At least they haven't up to date. Maybe that'll turn around this Sunday. The New Orleans Saints will host the New York Giants in Week 15 in the Superdome. The 6-7 Saints, currently in a 3-way tie for first place in the NFC South with Atlanta and Tampa Bay, will be looking to get back to 500 with a victory. The Black and Gold will play key games down the stretch against both Atlanta and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay will be a New Year's game, whereas the Falcons game will be the closeout game, most likely to decide the division. Sunday will mark the 32nd time the New Orleans Saints and the New York Giants will meet. New York leads the all-time series at 17-14, defeating New Orleans the last time they met, I think 2 years ago in the Superdome in overtime when Saquon Barkley scored a 6-yard touchdown. The Saints, I remember that game because Saints were up like 17. No, it was 21 to, I forgot what it was, 21 to 10 going into the fourth quarter. This sounds familiar, don't it? And the next thing you know, we're going into overtime and we lost. It was disgusting. New York, they ranked 26th in defense, 29th against the run, 18th against the pass. The Giants are ranked 31st. That is second to last in offense in the NFL. 14th in rushing and dead last in passing. Now, that's kind of deceptive because that's all the games combined averages. Because the last couple of weeks, they look way better, especially last Monday night. They looked real good throwing the ball down the field. And with Tommy DeVito, he really looks good under center. But overall, they're dead last. New Orleans, on the other hand, they're ranked 13th in the lead in total offense, which still is mind-boggling that they're ranked that high to me. It's mind-boggling. They're 14th in passing and 20th in rushing. Saints defense is ranked 13th in the league. They're tied for 26 against the run and 7th against the pass. They only surrender 189.5 net yards a game. Stat leaders for both squads. We have for the New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr at quarterback. He is 279 for 420, 2,880 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. For the New York Giants, Daniel Carr, well, they about the same. Daniel Jones he hasn't played, but he is still the leader in passing this season with 108 completions over 160 attempts, 909 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Leaders in rushing for the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley. He has 185 carries, 783 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns. For the New Orleans Saints, it's Alvin Kamara with 145 carries, 564 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Leading receivers for both teams, Chris Olave for the Saints, 72 catches for 918 yards and 4 touchdowns. He only needs 82 yards to get 2 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. So hopefully he'll get that, but I don't think he'll get it this week, and I'll explain later. For the Giants, Slayton has 34 catches for 449 yards and 1 touchdown on the season. Going over the injury report going into this Sunday matchup against the Giants. For the New Orleans Saints, we have once again a laundry list of players who are questionable, and probably some that I doubt playing this week. Well, let's start off with the big one that popped up this week. Like I mentioned, Chris Olave. Chris Olave has an ankle injury. He hasn't practiced none this week. It's kind of doubtful that he plays this Sunday, which is not good news. Not good news for the Who Dat Nation. Defensive end Isaac Forsky, quadricep. He hasn't practiced this week. He has been ruled out. Running back Kendrick Miller, ankle. He hasn't practiced none this week as well. Andrus Peat, he was sick earlier this week. He did participate in practice the last 2 days. Taysom Hill, still dealing with that foot and left hand. He was limited all week. We know that Cam Jordan had that ankle injury. He was limited all week. Rashid Shaheed, still dealing with that thigh. He was limited. Tackle Ryan Ramczyk, dealing with a knee injury. Also, rest, they say. He was limited all week, as well as running back Jamal Williams, groin limited all week. For the New York Giants, you have tight end Darren Waller, hamstring. He is on IR. And if you remember Darren Waller when he was with the Raiders for that Monday night game of what that was, I think 2020, I think the COVID year, and they were opening up their stadium in Vegas, and he tore the Saints defense apart. It was disgusting, but unfortunately he will not be playing this upcoming Sunday. Linebacker Isaac Simmons, ankle. He has been limited. Wide receiver Paris Campbell with a knee. He did practice this week. Defensive lineman Ashawn Robertson, hamstring and his finger. He was limited. Cornerback Cardale Flott, he has a shoulder injury. He was limited. And defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence, hamstring. He was also limited this week. Keys to victory for the New Orleans Saints this week. You heard me read off the stats, the rankings. This is a struggling team, but they have been over the past 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, been a different team. They're not as bad as they were to start off the season. They actually have some fight in them. They're a scrappy team, but that doesn't excuse the fact that that defense is suspect. So you can actually do something against that defense. The offense, with the addition of Tommy DeVito, and you heard me mention his name a lot because I watched a couple of games with Tommy DeVito, and I'm scared of that. It's nothing scarier than a hungry player who is sleeping on his mom's couch and has everything to prove and nothing to lose. And this is the type of player he is. And I'm not comparing him to Brock Purdy, but it's something like that. The story behind it, and you know, uh, the unexpectedness of him coming into the NFL and doing what he's doing. It's a scary thing, and the Saints defense must generate pressure. He has to feel the burn. You have to take Saquon Barkley out of the equation. That's his safety valve. You take him out of the equation, make it difficult for Tommy DeVito. You know, make him uncomfortable. Make him have to make the hard decisions. Is he capable of making the hard decisions? If he does that, I'll live with it. You know, I'll live with it. But Saquon Barkley is not going to beat me today. And so I'm going to take him out of the equation. And I'm not saying this ain't Bounty Gate. I'm not saying hurt him. But I mean, take him out of the game plan. You know, limit his run, his yardage, his ability to run out of the backfield, which he's great at. You know, he's like a bigger version of Alvin Kamara. You know, he has all the attributes of Alvin Kamara. He's just a bigger version of it. And he, unfortunately for him, he's injury prone. But he's very scary. Very scary. For the Saints offense, I don't even know what to say. I have no words for it. Say, let me see. Is Derek Carr playing? Yes, he's playing. Well, I have nothing else. I have nothing to say. I don't know, man. I have no faith in Derek Carr. Zero. None. Zip. Nada. I'm done with him. I am completely done with the cat. But my prediction for this game, I I hate to say it, but I have a strange feeling Saints are going to lose. And I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's really going to be a scrappy game towards the end. Probably going to be a one possession game, but ultimately, I think the Giants will come out on top. I hope I'm wrong, but I just have a feeling that Saints are not going to be up for the challenge here. You know, going by history. I mean, I can only judge you by what you show me, and going by what you showed me, I have no confidence in them. But I do see it being a good game because historically, when these two teams lock up, it's always a good game. Y'all remember that game? Oh my God, it was Drew Brees and Eli Manning, and they went at it. Defense is just they just sat down in that game. I think it was like 12 touchdowns scored in that game. It was something ridiculous like that. It was, I mean, a shootout. And the last time we played, you know, the overtime game where they made this epic comeback on the Saints, it was a game. You know, it's always a game with these teams. So I do expect a good game. I just don't know if our Saints will come out victorious. I hope that I'm wrong. But I would like to know what you think about this Sunday's matchup against the New York Football Giants. Do you think the Saints will start their run towards the end, win out? Hey, I'm all for it. This is my team. I'm cheering for them. Even though my lack of faith in certain elements of this team is there, I still cheer for them. I'm going to be cheering for them Sunday. And if my prediction is right, I'm going to be mad. You know, even though I'm saying that's what's going to happen, I'm still going to get mad if that happens. That's just how much I love the Saints. But I want to know what is your predictions for this game? You can contact the show by email, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also contact the show through social media. Look on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network, as well as YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video, please. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Dome Patrol here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this preview of the Week 15 matchup between the New Orleans Saints and the New York Football Giants. Can't wait to speak to you after that game goes final, hopefully with you hearing me apologize for picking against the Saints. Maybe. Or it could be me saying, I told you so. I'm hoping and wishing and praying that I'll be apologizing. But there's only one way to find out. Tune in after the game as we recap Sunday's matchup against the Giants. Until then, you can catch me by hearing me screaming, "Who dat?"